started with people working out together, and then
It started with a whole different training concept applied to my one-on-one clientele.
Okay.
I'm a grown-up now, and I got a kid to feed. What am I going to do to leverage my efforts? The notion became, I'm quit of turning away new clients. I'm going to double them up, triple them up, quad them up. And I got to tell you, what that does for the trainer's income is spectacular. You can go from what a good trainer in a city will make $50 to $100 an hour. You can, in groups of 15 to 20, start exacting a fat orthodontist or an attorney's hourly.
So it started with the certain kind of training, and then it went on to groups, and then there was a certain benefit to the community around that. What I've noticed training CrossFit myself is that it's more than just working out. It's mobility, it's nutrition, it's charity, it's the community around. When did that start developing, and when did you start?
With the groups.
Did it begin with nutrition?
No, but look, in 1995, I took a year off from training and traveled with Barry Sears on a semi-successful, semi-failed corporate venture that he lassoed me into. And I didn't train people, and I talked to people about eating right that had never eaten right. And we had a revolutionary message at the time, and it was that the carbs that you think are so good or bad, they're killing you. In fact, that's why you are heading towards heart disease and why your mother has it.
This was in '95.
This is in '95. And I had the wonderful experience of every trainer knows what it looks like when people will eat right and exercise right. We also know what it looks like when they will exercise right and not eat right. But what we never saw as a trainer, what happens when someone eats right and does no exercise. As a trainer, you don't see that. And what I got to see on the road with Barry was people that were eating right and doing no exercise. And the thing that just shocked the hell out of me was that the set of adaptations that were garnered through eating right alone without exercising were identical down to the very last adaptational capacity to what happens when you will exercise and not eat right. So there is no adaptation to eating right only that isn't on the list of exercising only. So increased bone density, sure.
If I can paraphrase that, I can put it. So eating right and not exercising put you in the same level of wellness as exercising and not eating.
Same class, same set of adaptations move favorably, eating right and not exercising, as would happen if you exercised and didn't eat right.
Okay.
In other words, here's another way to look at this to make it simpler. There is no adaptation that is potentially unique to eating right alone, except maybe something like avoiding heartburn. But for the most part, like if I tell you, if you tell me, you decide, was this an exercise program or a diet program? And the answer is it can't be both. My grandma increased her bone density. I can't tell you. I can do that with nutrition alone. I can do it with exercise alone. She improved her muscle mass. I cannot tell you where that came from. Her insulin, she's got a decreased insulin resistance measured by fasting insulin. I can't tell you which of those did that. She's got more pull-ups. I can't tell you whether that came through exercise or nutrition.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Pull-ups?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Look at the obvious one on there, and there's more than just the weight capacity, but a guy drops 20 pounds of blubber and picks up 5 pounds of muscle. There's about a 15-pound differential on the scale, and he's got 10 more pull-ups. Like, of course you did,
So I guess what you're saying then was being healthy, you couldn't separate
what I'm saying
working
is
out from
nutrition and
working
exercise
out.
are twin facets of the same goal or result, which is improved health and fitness. So when if you were training people,
yeah,
you got one oar in the water if you're not talking about nutrition. You got one oar in the water if you're not talking about movement. When we use constantly varied high intensity functional movement and combine it with a meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and sugar kind of paradigm, what we get is a jet stream of adaptation, just which I think is no small part responsible for what's going on here today.
So, but then how did I guess maybe the paleo diet, but the similar type of low carb, high protein diet and high vitamin diet, where did that come from? Did it come from after you started the group?
No,
or was it always there?
I knew in my one-on-one training. I've known since the early '80s. I had a gal at Gold's Gym turn me on to Atkins, and I read voraciously diet books, anything I get my hands on.
Okay.
And there's a whole camp of physicians, nutritionists, exercise phys guys that understand that excessive consumption of refined carbohydrate is the real 800-pound gorilla of metabolic derangement that's killing Americans by the millions.